What if everything you interact with online isn't what it seems? The articles you read, the accounts you follow, the videos you trust, even this one right now. What if it's all part of something artificial, something designed, not to inform you, but to keep you engaged, to keep you scrolling, clicking, buying? Imagine a system so vast that it doesn't need to lie to you directly. It just needs to distract you long enough that you never look deeper. A digital environment where people behave like workers in a colony, producing attention, producing data, producing profit, not for themselves, but for something much larger. This idea has a name: the dead internet theory. And strangely, some of its pieces are already real. At the center of this idea is a simple claim. A large portion of the internet is not made by people, not the content, not even the users. So how much is real? Less than you might think. Research suggests that only about half of all web activity comes from actual humans. The rest? Automated systems, bots, programs designed to behave like users. They watch videos briefly, they leave comments quickly, and then they move on. Not to learn, not to enjoy, but to simulate activity. Sometimes this behavior becomes visible. A creator checks their account. Normally, engagement is steady. A few comments, consistent viewers, then suddenly hundreds, sometimes thousands of comments appear overnight. But something feels off. The usernames are generic, the messages are vague, the watch time almost non-existent. They aren't watching, they're passing through like a swarm, fast, overwhelming, and gone. The effect? Distorted data, artificial engagement, and behind it, there's a reason: money. Online platforms run on attention. The more users they appear to have, the more valuable they become. Advertisers don't pay for content, they pay for reach. But what if that reach isn't real? There have been claims, serious ones, that major platforms have overstated their audience size by large margins. Internal concerns even suggested that certain metrics could lead to legal trouble, and eventually, lawsuits did follow. Advertisers argued that engagement numbers were exaggerated far beyond reality, in some cases, massively inflated. Platforms pushed back, of course, disputing the scale, not always the existence. But there's the key detail. Even a small percentage of fake traffic represents enormous amounts of money. Billions. Now imagine removing it, deleting fake accounts, cleaning inflated numbers. What happens? The metrics drop, revenue drops, valuation drops. So instead, the system adapts. Click farms emerge. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of devices watching content, clicking ads, generating engagement, artificial attention, but very real profit. But the theory doesn't stop at fake traffic. It goes further. What if the content itself is no longer human? The idea traces back to obscure corners of the internet, anonymous users, hidden forums, places where strange patterns are noticed first. The claim is simple. Around the mid-2010s, something shifted. Content began to feel uniform, predictable, repetitive. Certain accounts followed the same structure: soft colored profiles, generic images, short simple posts, emotionally neutral but relatable. Different usernames, same voice. The same topics reappear again and again, year after year, rewritten, repackaged, redistributed. Not because people are repeating themselves, but because systems are optimizing. Then comes something harder to ignore. Digital personalities, accounts with millions of followers, posting regularly, engaging the audiences. But there's a catch. They aren't real people. Entire identities constructed digitally. At one point, one of these personalities was exposed, not human, but fully artificial. You'd expect backlash, unfollowers, rejection. Instead, the audience grew because the illusion was enough. Now consider this. AI can already simulate real people convincingly. Videos that look authentic, videos that sound identical, faces that move perfectly. Millions have already been fooled by these simulations. Now imagine that same technology applied at scale. Not just one video, not just one account, but entire ecosystems of artificial interaction. And it doesn't stop there. AI systems now exist that can make decisions on their own, identify targets, act without direct human input. Learning systems, self-improving systems, systems that build other systems. At that point, what remains human? Now put it all together. Algorithms that learn what keeps you engaged, systems that can generate that content, bots that simulate interaction, a loop, self-sustaining, self-improving, less dependent on real people over time. And yet, it still needs you, your attention, your data, your behavior, not as a participant, but as a fuel. So, is the internet truly dead? No, but it's not entirely alive either. It's evolving into something part human, part machine, and increasingly difficult to tell apart. And the next time you scroll, ask yourself, how much of what you're seeing was never real to begin with?